Welcome to Understanding Diverse Learners, also known as 7764 EDN. I'm Jen Clifton and I'll be your course convener for this trimester. I refer to this course as the iceberg course because often when you're new to teaching, we're just familiar with what we remember or we think of as teaching. Getting up in front of the students, lesson planning and marking assignments. However, the profession of teaching has changed in recent years. Therefore, this course takes you below the iceberg. With the generous support of some partnership schools, this course goes deep into the data-informed teaching that is now required by the profession. It asks you to reflect on developmental phases, individual learner needs, and the theory that informs the practice at the top of the iceberg. Let's firstly look where this course fits in the scope and sequence of the Masters of Secondary Teaching program. This course sits comfortably beside Griffith Dimensions of Learning and Teaching in this trimester. This course and Griffith Dimensions of Learning and Teaching not only share a textbook, but many of the themes overlap and intersect as the trimester progresses. This is also the first course in a sequence of 3 courses that you will engage directly with schools. This course involves 21 days site-based in schools and it has a learner focus. And it is designed to maximise the transfer of theory to practice. In 7765 EDN, there is a 20-day placement which has a junior secondary schooling focus, followed by a 25-day placement in 7766 EDN, which has an emphasis on senior schooling. This course is taught differently to every other course in the program. It is designed to be a foundation course that provides a supportive approach to understanding and working within schools, and provides you with some basic knowledge needed for following placements. Given the uniqueness of this course, it is timetabled in different ways. In the Learning at Griffith site, you will find a map of the trimester and where this course fits. You may notice that the trimester is staggered so that your curriculum pedagogy assessment courses have a greater emphasis in the first few weeks, and Griffith Dimensions and Understanding Diverse Learners have a greater emphasis in the last weeks of the trimester. This is a deliberate arrangement so that you can give it your best while you're in schools, remembering that every time you're in a school, it's like a job interview. Of the current Masters group that are about to graduate, many were invited back to the partnership schools for their final placement, and some already have jobs within these schools once they finish. So it's important that we see this time in schools as not only a learning opportunity, but also an opportunity to impress the profession. So there is both a trimester map for Mount Gravatt and Gold Coast, and given there are some unique features, I'll now step you through them, explaining different aspects and important things you may need to know about the different modes of delivery. We're going to start with the workshops. Now, workshops will be delivered in a number of ways. There will be 7 face-to-face 2-hour workshops over the trimester. There will be 1 online workshop that you will have 2 weeks to complete. There will be 3 site-based tutorials during the 3-week school site-based component. These tutorials or workshops on site will be taught by school-based tutors who are teachers in the school and help translate the theory from this course to the practices that you're observing while on placement. The school-based tutor plays a really important role in this course. They not only welcome you to the school, but organise things like timetable and parent permissions. There'll also be 2 weeks of independent study for you to use to work on either other classes or on this course. Therefore, there'll be no classes in University Week 1, 5 and 8 for this course. Another feature of this course is focus days. For 3 weeks, you'll attend a partner school for 2 days a week. This is what we call focus days. During your focus days, you'll cycle through different year levels that span across junior, middle and senior years of schooling. For instance, you might see Year 7, Year 9, Year 12, or you might see Year 8, Year 10, Year 11. So you'll observe different teachers, different teaching areas, a variety of pedagogical methods and teaching strategies. Indeed, over this placement, you'll witness more than 30 different teachers and their craft. This will support you during your first placement in 7765, as it will help build you a solid toolkit with different ideas and strategies to implement. But you'll also reflect on the effectiveness of these different strategies. So during this time, you will complete set observations that focus on pedagogy, behaviour and engagement, and start to interact with young people in the classroom. These focus days will be followed with a workshop on campus. This will provide you with an opportunity to talk about what you're seeing and practice talking about students and teachers in professional ways before you do so in the school-based tutorials. These focus days will inform, or the data that you collect during these focus days will inform Assessment Task 1. It's where you'll create a developmental portfolio of 2 year levels, so 7 and 9 or 8 and 12. For instance, the due date for this one is the 23rd of May, and it will be explained in more detail in Workshop 2. So after the focus days, we'll move into a 3-week block in the same partner school, and each week of this time has a different theme. So in week 1, you'll shadow a learner for an entire week. You'll follow them looking for trends and differences as they move from a Monday to a Friday, from one teaching area to another, from an afternoon to a morning class, to classes when they have friends with them and classes where they don't. So you'll start to notice differences in their behaviour, engagement across the whole week. In week 2, you will repeat this process with a different learner to compare and contrast. In week 3, you'll be involved in a school priority area. Now this may involve being part of the learning support group or teacher aiding for a beginning teacher. Each school will have a different focus depending on their school priority. During this site-based component, you'll be involved in 3 2-hour tutorials, 1 per week, on site, taught by a teacher from this partner school. As the majority of these will happen after school, there's a good chance that 1 or 2 days a week it will involve a 5:30 finish. Which days will depend on what days their school meetings and when your individual school-based tutor has scheduled the workshop. So it is something you can't plan for until you start your focus days. So the data that you collect from following those 2 learners will inform Assessment Task 2, which is called the Learner Biographies. Its due date is the 16th of June, and the schools will also assess you on your professionalism. We'll talk more about that in later workshops. Each workshop will have a similar outline or a rhythm to it. On Learning at Griffith, there'll be an outline of the focus of the workshops, including the workshop learning intentions. There'll also be an outline of the pre-workshop tasks that you have to complete before attending that workshop. These are compulsory, as it not only affects your learning but also your peers, as it means the learning experience planned for class will not be as effective. These workshop activities have been designed to apply the key learning from the pre-workshop tasks. Given the importance of these tasks, included in the workshop outline will be a success checklist, which helps you make sure that you've completed all the necessary components before attending class. There'll also be a brief outline around how this workshop links directly to the assessment, and a spot for all the resources that link to the workshop, such as PowerPoint slides or graphic organisers that we might use in class. So there you have it, a very brief overview of understanding diverse learners. Some key messages to sum up. Just a quick reminder that Workshop 1 will be held in the University Week 2, and there will be no classes for this course or Griffith Dimensions for Learning and Teaching in University Week 1. This provides you with an opportunity to get your head around all the curriculum pedagogy assessment courses before we begin. Please check the Learning at Griffith site for pre-workshop tasks and come prepared with everything you've been asked for the first workshop. There is a textbook for this course, Education Psychology for Learning and Teaching, and it's shared across your 2 core courses this trimester. And finally, both Glenn and I And finally, from Glenn, who'll be teaching at Gold Coast, and myself, who'll be teaching at Mount Gravatt, we'd like to welcome you to the course, and we look forward to learning with you. Looking forward to meeting you in Workshop 1. Thanks.